Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning into this one. It's a little bit of a different video, but hopefully it's got some pretty good information for you at the end. I've done a Q&A with Oxy. I asked him very kindly if he would be up for doing a Q&A. I originally asked him if he wanted to come on mic, and he said he just didn't feel comfortable putting his voice on, which I fully understand. I've been there at the start of my content creating, so I know how that is. But I put some questions to him. I actually got some questions from my channel members that were in my Discord, and yeah, I put a couple to him, and I asked 10 myself, so we're going to get through them at the end, and might have a bit of a first exclusive for you at the end, which I really appreciate by Oxy. So you'll know probably if you've been watching my channel that I'm a big fan of Oxy, massive fan of Oxy. He uses his maps on a few Let's Play series. I've obviously used it heavily on the Farmland series. He is an incredibly talented map designer and a pure asset to the farming simulator community as a whole if you're a British, UK, Irish player, because he makes the maps that we can all relate to because of where we're from. So a lot of people obviously agree with that, and it's true, but we've also got a lot of other modders, and that's what this video is about. We'll get into the Oxy side shortly. But yeah, first I just want to talk about, it's like I've wanted to do this for a while. I'm just going to speak freely and talk real to you about, like, when I started the game as in FS17, I played on console, didn't do any content creating at the time. And, you know, you just play the game for fun, you enjoy it. But the amount of content that we were getting as a British or an Irish or a UK player was a lot more. There was a lot more going about. And, you know, partly that's because as the game has advanced, it takes modders a lot longer to make maps. It does. You've got to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the amount of time it now takes. You're talking thousands of hours to make a map and hundreds of hours to make maybe a tractor and stuff like that. To get it finely detailed, put it into Blender. You know, some of these modders now, what they're doing, they're making maps, and every object you see, most of the buildings are being designed in Blender. So you've got to take your hat off, and that exactly is what this video is about. This is a big shout out to all British and Irish modders, because without them, then I know a lot of people are going to agree with this, but without them, we'd be bloody lost, right? And that's not a dig at Giants, because Giants offer the platform, they offer the game. It's, you know, designed by Giants to be modder-friendly. But without the modders, we wouldn't be playing thousands of hours ourselves. We won't keep coming back to it as our go-to game, and it is because of modders. So I just wanted to do a video showcasing some of the modders that are not active anymore, some of the stuff that's been around, maybe some of the reasons why they're not active anymore, and just showcase and highlight that, because I think it is important now that we speak about it as a community and say that, you know, this could be the reason why this is happening. But also at the same time, yeah, highlighting the modders that have come on the scene in FS22 that are active now, because we've got to give them shout outs. And I as a content creator, feel like I have a responsibility to do this. At the end of every single one of my farming videos, I give a shout out to a select few that I've picked that I've kind of used quite a lot when it comes to, if it's a placeable buildings, tractor, map, whatever, you know. And if you've watched that and you're watching the video, Lancey Boy, Oxy, AMG, 4D modding. If you guys are watching, I don't know if you are, but if you are, you know, hopefully you've seen that at the end of my videos, because it is a big reason that I can do that series, because of what mods and maps and, you know, buildings, whatever you guys are supplying. It kind of fuels the creativity on my side. So I'm really grateful as a player and as a content creator that you guys are around. So yeah, let's get into it then. I mean, first thing I want to talk about now, I'm not here to kind of preach this down everyone's throat, but we have to ask the question, you know, what, like, there's less modders nowadays when it comes to British, UK, and Irish. I believe so anyway. Like, you look at 19 was more active than FS22, and then FS17 was more active than 19. Yes, that is, like I said, because it takes so much longer now to model, takes so much longer to blend. They're pushing themselves as creators to kind of make these amazing maps that are highly detailed and lifelike. And yeah, I fully understand that. And patience is something that we should all have as a community. You know, not asking questions on their Facebook pages. When's it coming out? Is it coming to console? You know, the famous, is it coming to console? We should basically just, you know, praise the work that they're showing us, and, you know, be grateful that they're showing us kind of the progress as it's going along. So, you know, I'll give you an example. Bullet Bill was sharing a lot of information about his map that was called Herefordshire. I think that's what it was called. I'm pretty certain. And I just enjoyed the process of that, and going on Facebook and seeing these pictures of what looked like to be a stunning map, an absolutely stunning map, and would have been a fan favorite for many people that, you know, kind of fall in the bracket that this video is aimed at, which is UK, UK players, Irish players, or even players from outside that, you could be from you could be from Europe, you could be from America, but like to play a British map or use British equipment. It does tend to be smaller equipment, tight lanes, the typical British, Irish style layouts. It's what I relate to, and it's what I kind of want to play as a content creator, because it's where I get my most entertainment out of it. And that's important for anybody that's playing the game, even if you're making content or not. So yeah, it basically is just about maybe having that bit of understanding that it takes a lot of time. But at the start of like the FS22 cycle and maybe midway through the FS22 cycle, we were having a lot of information about maps that were going to come out or in the works, potentially maybe even coming to FS25, who knows. But it has gone quiet recently, and there has been this kind of conversation that's been happening that's it is something that I just want to quickly talk about. But like I said, I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong here. I've got my own opinions, and everyone will form their own opinions, but it's about having respect for these modders that take thousands and hundreds of hours, depending on what they're making, into something they've designed themselves. And then what's happening is it's getting converted, it's getting put up to sites or edited. And the problem is maybe it's not being asked for permission. And when that happens, obviously, you're taking away from the original modder. It's like, I see it as if I take a lot of pride into the farmhand. It takes me hours and hours to make that setup for it, the story, the prep work, everything. If someone was like doing the same series exactly with the same characters, the same name, taking clips of my videos and putting them onto another, YouTube channel, then obviously I'd be like, that took me a long time to do, and it would peeve anyone off. Let's be honest, it really would. So I really do understand these modders that are becoming disheartened and disillusioned with Farming Simulator because of the amount of work that's going into things, and then it's just getting put on other sites. So they'll put it to ModHub, for example, then find it on all these other sites. Now, I've always said that I like King Mods because of the fact that it directly links to the original source. So if someone's put it on ModHub, you go on King Mods and it directly links to the original source, which is good because then they get something in return. The modder does, the traffic that goes to ModHub, obviously, a small amount, and it's a different subject in itself, the amount that goes to the modders, which in my opinion isn't what it should be because of the amount of work that goes into it. But again, mods should be free. They really should. I agree with that. I'm fully on board with that. I would like it if, though, and this is a completely tangent now, I'm just going off track, but I just wanted to say this for me, and I think a lot of people would agree, that if there was a tip system within ModHub, how good would that be? How useful would that be? And we could give something back to modders. Like, imagine if you were downloading a map like Calmsden, for example, and you're going to play it for hundreds of hours, and there was a tip system where you could just pay 50 pence or £1, right? And I know everyone's struggling nowadays, including myself. It's not easy out, I rent a home. It's not like I own home. I work my socks off, and I get it. I really do. But if you could give 50p or something on a ModHub, on the ModHub as a tip option, it was just optional, so you don't have to do it. You can still download the mod for free and everything. But imagine if it then gets 50,000 downloads and 10,000 people decide to put 50 pence on. The amount that it would generate for the modders and the incentive it would give them, I think it would keep that section of the community just really active, and we wouldn't keep losing British modders. And unfortunately, we are losing British modders. It's true, we are. If you look back at the big names like Green Bale, especially Green Bale, we haven't seen much off Green Bale for a while because, I imagine it might be because of that. I wouldn't want to put words into someone's mouth or anything like that. I do speak to modders. I do speak to modders, but I speak in privacy, so I don't want to kind of air anything out because I have respect for them, and it would be wrong of me to do that. But I just think like I said, this video is just a shout out to British and Irish modders, and I just want to say a big thank you. And I know everyone in the comment section is going to do the exact same and show the support. And hopefully we can get to a point where, the reasons why these modders are becoming disillusioned it can be sorted out and maybe stop, because we need them to stick around, because without them we're bloody lost, aren't we? Let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to go through a few modders now, just a few that I've kind of pinpointed. We're going to go and have a look at some of the work. We're going to just talk about it. We're going to talk about some that have been active but then now not active as well, which is just to show you what we have lost and the potential that could have been. And that could be for several reasons. Like I said, it might not just be because they've come disillusioned with certain things that are going on. It could be because they've got, real lives, they're busy and everything like that. So just, keep that in mind, that this isn't me saying we've lost these because of this reason. I'm just saying that they're no longer active as much as what we saw in FS19, for example, or even going back to FS17. And it's important to just see the work and the potential of what could have been, because there is 2 maps that I can think of straight away that I'm going to show you that would have been amazing to see in FS22, and who knows, potentially we could see him in FS25, so fingers crossed still for that. But let's get into it. I've kind of rambled on, I've said what I've got to say. Like I said, massive thank you to all the UK and British and Irish modders that go out of their way to put thousands and hundreds of hours in to make tractors, equipment, placeable sheds, buildings, silos, whatever, maps that relate to us UK players and Irish players that just want to kind of relate to the game and enjoy some good old British and Irish farming. So big thank you to every single one of you, honestly. And I hope you all, get a chance to see this video, and yeah, it gives you a bit of fire in the belly knowing that a lot of people, because I know they'll get in the comment section, there's a good community on my channel, and they'll get in the comment section and they'll let you know how much they appreciate it. Right, so let's start off with Bullet Bill. We've all heard of Bullet Bill. He's like, for me in FS17, him and Oxy was what made me play the game and fall in love with the game. I have to just say that now, them two, Bullet Bill and Oxy, is why I fall in love with the game, and watching Mr. Silly P was the reason that I just kept going back to it as well. So them 3 was my kind of combination of what kept me going. So I'm going to show you, first off, one of his maps from FS17. Let's go to a classic here, and we'll open up, and I'll bring up on screen now, the Western Shore. I mean, what a map that is. What a stunning map that was. Like you can tell, even looking at this now, this is FS17, and it, it looks pretty darn good for FS17 with that fence and that Pottinger plough in the field. Bullet Bill, a master of his work indeed. Yeah, he really was. He really did smash it out when it comes to that. And then we've got here another picture that you can see, which is, again, Western Shore. And, again, look at the snow. Look at the seasons of old, man. I don't know if anyone else is with me on this, but I miss old seasons. 19 seasons, 17 seasons. Yeah, I think we've got a dumbed-down version. Let's hope that Giants have made a bit of an improvement there for FS25. But, again, that's a topic for another day. But look at that picture. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Bullet Bill did some excellent maps for FS17. And Western Shore was a fan favourite. I will say now quickly that the Western Shore has been converted. It is probably on certain sites, but it wasn't given permission, as far as I know, by Bullet Bill. So just keep that in your mind when you're seeing it and you're playing on it or doing whatever, Just keep that in mind, because it wasn't converted with permission from Bullet Bill, as far as I know. So, and yeah, it's a shame if that is the case, because what I found from speaking to modders is if you just ask the question, they're pretty much sound with it. They're like, yeah, crack on. Thanks for asking. I think that's all they want at times, just a bit of a show of respect to go, is it all right if I do this? And then if they do say no, you just take it on the chin and you crack on and go make your own map. Finally, just another picture on the Western Shore here. What a view. What a view. It kind of reminds me of that Sandy Bay field, doesn't it, where it's on the edge, and it was stunning. Sandy Bay. FS19, I remember having the most fun with Sandy Bay. Another Oxy classic. Right, so now we've looked at that, again, just a reminder, it's probably brought back a load of nostalgia there for people who've played that map. It's a stunning map, but I want to show you a map that he's been working on. There's a few pictures here, and it's called Herefordshire. And if you go on to Bullet Bill's Facebook page, he's got a Facebook page. In fact, I'll try and put as many links to the Facebook pages in the video description to everyone that I'm shouting out here. And if you can, just go on there, like it, follow them. You'll see some great stuff, and hopefully it'll introduce you to some modders maybe that you didn't realise that this is where this equipment comes from on Mod Hub and stuff. This is, these are the people putting in the hard hours and stuff to get this kind of British, UK, Irish equipment out to us. But this map, right, it is stunning. So this first one I'm showing you now is a manor house, and this is by Bullet Bill. This is Herefordshire, the map. I've been following this map for so long, and it's just, honestly, I would feel lucky if we get to finally play this as players, because the detail and the modelling itself, everything looks unique. The houses, the bungalows, the field, the layout, it just feels like a typical British place. And I think Bullet Bill just hits the nail on the head every time. He has technically just won it with this. It's a stunning map. Let's look at this next picture that he shared. I've seen buildings like this in real life. I've been inside them. In fact, I used to know someone that had exactly like this building. You'd walk up the side stairs, and at the top there, they had a load of chickens just going crazy on this. It's like a top version of a barn that was just, had chickens in it. It was mental. Chicken poo everywhere, but it looked exactly like that. And if you go into the details and you have actually look along, you can see like some of that guttering's a bit damaged. It's stunning. It really is. And you can imagine this would be a nice small little farm. I've got so many pictures of here. I really would recommend going and check out Bullet Bill's Facebook page, because all these pictures are on there. Again, an Esso garage. If you're from the UK, I think they're in Ireland. I imagine so. A Londa shop, it's well known, and you can see that's bang on. That is pretty much just typical of what you'd expect. And also, I'm going to just say this to you now, right? This building here, keep an eye out for this John Deere building at the back. I think it's the store or the dealership. You got to look at this, because you'll see that actual building on a lot of modders' pictures. And I think a lot of modders used it to kind of showcase equipment. So when they were taking pictures for anything they were putting mod up, it looks like that is in a lot of them. So yeah, Bullet Bill's he's got like a set going on for people. And then look at this. And this reminds me of somewhere very close to where I live. It's a bit small. It's a smaller scale to what it is where I live, but I live really close, and I mean really close to Chatsworth Estate in the Peak District. And it kind of got that vibe. It reminds me of that beautiful home, a stately home and stuff like that. But look at that, man. It's a map and a half, and I don't know. I can't sit here and say to you it's going to come. I don't know if it's going to carry on. I don't know if Bullet Bill's active. He hasn't posted in a while, so I don't want to say, yes, he's active, he's not active. He was active at some point through FS22. He even made a load of custom textures for crops, and they were stunning. Like, in fact, I even... after talking about donations and stuff, and I've donated some of my earnings from YouTube to modders just to give back, and I've been open about that and said that I have done. I actually donated to Bullet Bill after this because I used them textures, and I still do to this day, for the OSR, for the barley, wheat. I think there might be another one, but I can't think of it. Barley, wheat, OSR. I'm not entirely sure, because it's like Benji's textures as well for the corn. They're just brilliant textures. So now we're looking at some kind of sell points. You can see it says Frontier, so it says sell point. Way station looks spot on. Signs are British. All these signs, even the safety signs, are probably everyone's seen them in the UK if they've worked on some kind of site like that or been to a site. I don't think you can get any more exact than that is. It's in fact, it's spot on. And then even this is the outside of that Frontier agricultural grain merchant, maybe supplier or something. And you can tell from that there was even a train line on the map as well. Or there is a train line on the map. But look at the fencing. The fencing just reminds me of like what you'd see in an industrial estate that's been closed off, security fencing, but it's spot on. It's perfect, in fact. Going into a sell point like that would feel like a real sell point that I'm taking my goods to. And then we'll leave on this one. And I just thought to myself that this is one of my favourite ones he shared. I don't know why, because there's probably better pictures. But yeah, there's even more than this on his Facebook. You'll probably see a bit more. I think that's where the train station is. It looks like it to me. And yeah, but I liked this one because it made it feel like the houses are even, they look British. And I remember sending him a reply saying, how much of that bungalow, because I'd love to be sitting in the conservatories having a brew, watching the harvester go past. But yeah, hats off to Bullet Bill. Big shout out to you, mate. You do some incredible work, and I hope to see more coming in the future. Fingers crossed. So the next one we're going to look at then is a modder called Dusty Dave. Now, Dusty Dave in FS19 was one of my favourite map makers. He made a map called Bessie Beneath. I did a series on it, and it was stunning. And there was talk about him bringing it back. It's not happened. Obviously busy in life and all that good stuff. And he was also working on another map for FS22 called Ruddlemore. And unfortunately, that didn't come to FS22 again. Probably just really busy in life. But I just thought I'd shout him out because he's one of the modders that I've used his maps, played on, and I hope that at some point we might get to see these maps coming, even if it's a rebirth of Bessie Beneath or Ruddlemore that come out maybe in FS25, who knows. But I just thought I'd give him a shout out. So let's have a look at some of these pictures then. So I'll go through. I've got a few of them saved. Now this one is, again, a public footpath. This is I'm pretty certain this is Ruddlemore. Pretty certain of it. You can see, again, highly detailed. Looks like it's got all the right signs and everything for a UK map. Again, go follow Dusty Dave on Discord and check out, because you'll find out even more than I'm probably showing you right now. This is part of one of the farms on Ruddlemore, which is, again, nice, tight, British dry stone wall kind of thing, and love the detail, the kind of like the yard area. It's like a cobbled stone area. It looks really good, and accumulations of water as well that are kind of blended into them textures. Nice sheep pasture out there as well. If you have a look here, it's got a store driving past, a nice bridge, country lanes and all that good stuff. Sell point looks like maybe that's like where you're going to sell some bales and stuff. A country stores, it looks like it says on the sign there. Really detailed. Hopefully one day, you never know. Now I'm certain as well this is still Ruddlemore. I tried to get a few pictures of Bessie Beneath, but I might not got them. I'll have to check which ones I got here. But yeah, you can see the detail of them. Like I said, if you want to see these in detail, just pause the video or go and find in the link in the video description to the Facebook pages. If I can find everyone's Facebook page, then I'll put it on there. This is another one as well. You can see. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I mean, you can tell straight away. It looks like a British map, so, you know, I get a lot of love from players. And then this is one of the main farms. Now, I never got to see the farm in detail going into it, I don't think, from his pictures, but I could tell in the distance there. It's a nice grass field, nice layout. Cows are out in the field, and this was like the driveway going into the farm. You've got, looks like a parlour there. I don't know if it was animated or anything like that. I haven't got a clue, but it just looks like one of them farms laid out really well, and would be great to play on. So the next picture I'm showing you now is Bessie Beneath. Now, this was him taking a picture whilst he was working on getting it converted back for FS22. So that I remember that. That was the entrance to the farm I used on the series, of the Let's Play series. Again, stunning map, because I remember when you drive down here, there's a petrol station on the left-hand side. Yeah, and then this is another part of Bessie Beneath as well. So really tight, small, a perfect map for who wants to play, you know, if anyone wants to play with traditional small British equipment and stuff like that. So big shout out to Dusty Dave, and hope to see you, you know, maybe active again on FS25. You always have a fan here, mate, and if you do convert anything for either if it's Bessie Beneath or we get to see Ruddlemore eventually, then, you know, I'm definitely going to be showcasing it on my channel as well. So the next one is really an important mod to me, because I've only ever actually done one mod review technically on my channel that's not been a map, and it was because I saw AMG's Massey Ferguson pack, the 57. In fact, it's the Massey that I've just sold in one of the latest Farmhand videos, at the second-hand brand new day. So if you follow me on the Farmhand, you'll notice they're Massey Fergusons. Now, AMG is one hell of a tractor modder. He is awesome. He's made a few with the steep nose bonnets. You've probably seen a New Holland Ford addition to that kind of steep nose bonnet. That's on Mod Hub. He did the pack, like I said, and you can see that he did the 5S with the new Massey Ferguson logo. I remember seeing it first before Giants actually put it into the game. I believe I might be wrong, but I believe he did it first. And I just loved his tractors and the detail that he went into, and you can see they're modelled, and it must take hundreds of hours, maybe more than that, to even think about modelling these tractors. So I just wanted to give AMG a shout out. I actually met him at Lammer as well, so that was amazing as well to speak to him firsthand. But yeah, he does some incredible mods. And you can see here, I took this picture off his Facebook page, so you can see the steep nose 54, 55. You can see the newer 5S models here that he did with these he actually did a front loader as well. And you can see you got 1.4 million downloads, which is incredible. And that's part of the Massey Ferguson pack over there. So that's one of the tractors that I said. And the amount of options you got with tyres and everything, it was insane. It was outstanding work. You know, it's setting the standard. And you can see that steep nose at the back there, that Ford, that's one of the ones I told you about. He's done some incredible mods, and hopefully we'll get to see him converted by AMG, not you know, anyone else, by AMG for FS25, and he can bring him back to the game, because it's definitely one of the must-have kind of tractor packs that I like. I pretty much put it into every save game I have. It's outstanding. So let's just show a few more pictures here. You can see more of the Massey pack, and then the 5Ss that he's done with the front loader. I mean, look at the detail of that. But have you noticed that shed? Doesn't it not look like it's off the map from Bullet Bill? It does to me. I think he's using it as like, yeah, I think Bullet Bill's setting up, he's got like a set and lights and everything on the map for modders to take pictures of their equipment and showcase them to us a lot. But yeah, it's definitely that. It looks the same. And then finally, he did a trailer, a really decent trailer that I don't think I've actually used it much in my series, but it is a stunning trailer because it's got a great animation at the top where there's like the tarp that kind of comes down, which you can see here from this bar. Yeah, it's stunning. It really is. So go check out his Facebook page, and you can see his mods as well from there. You'll see links. He'll link all his mods and stuff to ModHub from there. So go check it out if you've not tried this trailer out or any of the Massive Focus, which I imagine you have anyway. But if you haven't, go check it out. But yeah, another massive shout out to AMG. Thanks for all the tractors, mate. They've really helped me out in the farmland, and as you probably know yourself, I've used a lot of them. Right, so the next one, Greenbale, man. Greenbale, we've not seen anything off Greenbale in FS22, but he was one of my favourite map makers in FS19. And a bit of a story as well about Greenbale. He's got a YouTube channel that he was doing videos on when he was making the Northern Coast, I think it was, the Northern Coast. And I took influence from his videos to something I do now in the farmland, which is when I'm in the tractor and I've got the radio on the background quite soft and you can't really hear it very well, but it's got that kind of subtle atmospheric sound to it that you're supposed to hear with the radio turned down. And I'll be honest about it, that was completely influenced by Greenbale, me watching his videos back in FS19 days. I just loved the idea of what he made it feel. It just felt realistic when he was in cab. So go check out his YouTube channel as well. I'll link his Facebook and everything as well. But if you can, go search Greenbale on YouTube and you can get to see the videos that I'm on about. But he did two really good maps in FS19. I've got two shots here from the first one, which is Greenwich Valley, which again was an outstanding map, as you can tell. I think it actually featured, I think it was one of the maps that featured by Dagwin in his survival roleplay series. I think it was. I'm pretty certain of that. Could be like his second series was on after Letton. I think he did go to Greenwich. And it was, again, a stunning map. It really was. So let's have a look at another picture from Greenwich, which is, the road and the spar and everything. A really good British UK mapper as well that, unfortunately, we haven't seen anything off in FS22, but I just want to give him a shout out. Probably not going to be watching it. I don't know. But if he is, big shout out to you, mate. I loved both of the maps you did in FS19. And the Northern Coast was outstanding as well. Unfortunately, again, the Northern Coast is another map that's been converted to FS22 with what I believe was not done by Greenbale, and I don't know if it was asked for permission, unfortunately. So, it could be potentially why we don't see these modders anymore. And if it is, it's such a shame. It really is. So yeah, here's the Northern Coast by Greenbale for FS19. Stunning. Beautiful map. I remember when that map dropped, man. It was dead exciting because it was like, I believe it was like tail end of FS19. It wasn't, a map that we got early on. We got it near the end of FS19, and I just thought, wow, this map is stunning. And the main yard and everything. I remember the slurry pit was like a pipe coming out under the ground under the shed of where the cows were, and it was super cool because it was already set up for the hoses and everything, the connections and all that. And I believe Maze Plus and the Farming Agency did the horse extension where it was built into the map and all that as well after. So two versions came to ModHub, and it was an outstanding map that I played on quite some time. It was a brilliant map by Greenbale. But yeah, another mod that we haven't seen of, so it's a shame. That's why I'm highlighting Greenbale, because it's one of the modders I do miss, and I think if he was active, we'd all be better off for it. So fingers crossed, you never know. Fingers crossed he might return at some point, but yeah, shout out to Greenbale, and thanks for the influence, mate. And you've helped me along the way with probably things you didn't realise. Right, so the next one is 4D modding, the one and only 4D modding. I mean, what can I say about 4D modding? I've been using his equipment for a very long time. He's very active, always in every version of the game, seems to be dead active. He makes some stunning tankers, trailers. And yeah, we've been very lucky with some of the equipment that he's give Irish players and UK players and British players to use, and they fit perfectly on this style, British farming and all that good stuff. He is an Irish modder. He works closely with Iragri and obviously Ballyspring and all that. So that what a map that is, and that's going to come in a second. That's one of the people that I've got down on my list, 4D modding with Iragri, because, yeah, without them guys, you wouldn't be getting map Ballyspring, which is amazing because of the gameplay features it offers as well. It's offered so much and been constantly updated and changed. And it's, yeah, probably one of the best maps that hit FS22 for British and Irish players. So big shout out to 4D Modding and the team at Iragri. Yeah, because they have offered so much. So I'm going to give a shout out to Irish Connor, Glengar Boy, Iragri Modding, 4D Modding. You know, you guys have smashed it out. And I'll put a couple of pictures up now of Ballyspring because I've done a series on it. I've had it feature on a couple of episodes in the farmland as well. Big shout out to you guys. You've worked your socks off and you've given a lot to the FS22 game and the community as a whole. So thank you for that. As a content creator, I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of players really appreciate Ballyspring as well. So now I want to give a shout out to Lancey Boy. Everyone knows Lancey Boy. He's done a couple of maps in FS19, British maps, but I think he went to mainly US maps in FS22. So I don't think I'm pretty confident saying that I don't think he did a UK map in FS22. But what he did do was some outstanding sheds, buildings, grain sheds, and I've used them so many times when I'm building my own farm, designing or putting stuff in. So I want to give Lancey Boy a big shout out because he makes some unbelievable storage sheds, and in FS19 Charwell, just, you know, top of my head, I loved playing a series on that. Was when I really got into Maize Plus because it was the first map picked for the horse extension with Maize Plus and for the farming agency. So yeah, big shout out to Lancey Boy. Hope you're still active, mate, and if you are, I look forward to seeing everything that you've got coming up in the future. But yeah, your sheds have been excellent and a great addition to Farming Simulator 22. So big shout out to you. Right, so the next one I'm going to give a shout out to is NM Modding. Now, I don't know if they were in FS19. I can't actually remember, but I do know that FS22 and this Bunning Lowlander muck spreader is an absolute must. And if you can tell, it looks like he's on that scene again. He looks like he's on Herefordshire in this shot that you can see on his Facebook. So yeah, he's used the scene, the setup that Bullet Bill got there. But no, what a stunning Bunning trailer this was. We've had some excellent stuff from him. I have got a few pictures to showcase, so I'll kind of throw them on. You can see the Bunning Lowlander Mark IV 105. I use it. You've probably seen it in my series. It's a stunning muck spreader, highly detailed, and yeah, pretty much exact to what it looks like in real life. So that's a plus. And then I think, I'm not entirely sure on this, but I think he was working on a map called West Newton that we haven't seen. I'm pretty certain on that we haven't seen it, because if we have, I missed out. So if this has come out, then please let me know, because I want to try this map, but I don't think it has. But I found a few pictures of it on Facebook. So yeah, it could be a map that it was done previously and he's converting, or maybe it was a brand new map. I'd have to do a bit more research in that. But I just want to showcase it because, again, it just looks stunning. And I know the sky's been added in. That's not in-game. But you've got a couple of pictures here. I think he was doing a conversion and a new map. But I know one of them was called West Newton. But I just wanted to give a shout out to NM Modding, because that Bunning Lowlander on its own is a must-have mod for me. And I've used it quite a lot in a few series. So another big shout out to you and a big thank you. I really appreciate you putting the time in to create models like that for us to use in game. Right, so the next one is a modder called IJ Creative Design. Now, you've probably all seen me use these AW trailers. I was showcasing them not longer in the farmland. Jerry's farm uses them, and yeah, I've used them in Let's Play series. They are stunning. The strapping, the way it works, the hydraulics, it's just perfect. It must take a long time to model these, but I really love these AW trailers, and it's nice to have a proper British style trailer in the game. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to IJ Creative Design, because you've done some excellent work here. And again, look at this picture now. Look, same place. That John Deere dealership that I've never visited, but I really need to visit because it seems like it's got all the best equipment as well. But yeah, an amazing AW trailer. We had a few of them as well. It's not just this that he's done. He also did not long ago, we saw something like this. This connection at the front on on the Teleander and stuff like that. So he is active in FS22, which is great to see. So a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for the thank you so much for what you've contributed to the community, because again, it's if I see a mod drop by you, I'm pretty much guaranteed to download it, give it 5 stars, and put it into my save game, because you make some very detailed and high quality mods. So yeah, massive shout out to you and a big thank you from me. There's going to be plenty more, but these are the ones that I've just kind of jotted down and they come to mind first off. There's plenty more of British kind of modders that have done some work for ModHub and for the community. So if I've missed you, I really apologise for that. I'm just trying to do my best to remember everybody. But I just want to give this last shout out to John Deere 2450. He did a really good conversion of this class Arius, and it also was a Renault version of it as well. That was a brilliant mod to finally have. But we also got some Marston trailers as well, and them are stunning. So I really like the Marston trailers, and again, they really help. We've had quite a lot of Marston stuff pop up, and yeah, these trailers stand out for me. So I just want to give you a big shout out and a big thank you to John Deere 2450. So that's pretty much all the modders that I can think of. And if I've missed out anybody, like I said, I really apologise for that. But I thought I'd just quickly jump on to Carmson, because next we're going to talk about Oxy. Now, I've already mentioned that Oxy is, an absolutely incredible map maker. Court Farms, Carmson, just to speak of 2 maps from FS22, but you can go back to FS17, FS19 days. Sandy Bay, Challenging Valley. I mean, there's loads of maps that you could just write a list as long as your arm, and Oxy's, he's top tier, and I appreciate the fact that I can work together with him when it comes to the farmhand. I see him as a friend now, which I'm very grateful for, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to you. I've showcased your stuff pretty much on a lot of the stuff I've done anyway, so I don't really need to go and show off Carmson or Court Farm. But what I am very grateful for is I asked him, like I said at the start of the video, for a Q&A. I threw 10 questions that I typed up myself to him. He answered them for me, and then I put a few questions out to the community. So what we're going to do now is go through the community questions first and what Oxy had to say. And then we'll end with my 10, and hopefully at the end you'll learn some good stuff about what's happening in FS25 and so on. So let's start through these then. In fact, I put them in a Word document just to make it simplified a little bit, but I'll make sure it's on the screen as visual text for you as well. So in my Discord, I've got a channel for channel members and Ko-fi members, and I said to him, listen, if you want to ask Oxy a question, send it to me and I'll pass it over to him. So I've got a couple of questions here. So the first question is from one of my channel members called Six, and he put, do you think with the new engine and game it will be possible to make the next map more interactive? And would it be more possible to use construction code in modded maps? I know in 22 it couldn't because it was locked behind the paid DLC. Which is a good question. So Oxy put, probably a bit too early to comment on this question as we don't know all the details yet, but if construction is available in FS25, I will try and put it to good use. Also think it will be very rare for modders to use this option, as it will take a lot of work and preparation in 3D modeling program and in-game for what it is. So basically, what Six is asking is, like the Platinum expansion, we had like construction missions and stuff, and we've noticed that with FS25 announced that we're going to get that kind of stuff with buildings and sheds and houses and whatever else that they eventually put into kind of like the base game maps. So he's asking the question, can that be unlocked for modders putting into their maps? So imagine getting a farm, for example, start-off farm on Oxy's new map that comes out in FS25, and you have to put wood and take bits and bobs, kind of like production items, to build the farm up before you can actually farm it. That's what kind of Six is giving an example of. Can he do that? And Oxy's basically saying that maybe basically it could be done, but it would take a lot of work in 3D modeling and preparation. So it could be, but he did say, Oxy did put that if it is like that he would try his very best to put it to good use. So that's a positive. So the next question was from Dwarrick Dog, and he asked to Oxy, what changes from a map maker's point of view is he most looking forward to or hoping will be available to them in FS25? And Oxy put, what I'm looking forward to the most is the new ground deformation and weather effects like rain, etc., and the bonus of data compression, which means modelings can be more detailed. There we go. So the next question was by PM Nutrition, and he put, what would Oxy like to do on a map, which is finally possible with the new engine? What was his hardest decision to make with the map? And Oxy replied, With things like data compression, I hope they will increase the current 1 GB limit on ModHub to at least 2 GB, so I can finally make super detailed maps, which you will see when my next map is released. The hardest decision was to make a map fully customizable, as you need to completely change the way you make a map. So, PM Nutrition, that's a really good question, because I think Oxy's confirmed there, with his next map, it will be fully customizable, which means, if I'm, reading that right, placeables, hedges, fences, buildings will be removable. That's what I'm reading there. So that could be him confirming that on his next map. So good question, PM Nutrition. So the next question is by Alder Old Irish, and he asked Oxy, what is his favourite map? Has he any info on GE? Will porting FS22 to FS25 be easy? What's his thoughts on geometry data compression, which it's been mentioned quite a bit. And my favourite maps so far have been Carmson and Court, which actually I think was one of my questions, or part of one of my questions, so we've already got the answer to that. But my current favourite will be my new map that I'm currently working on. Don't have any info really on the new Giants engine, but I'm sure it won't be that much different. Data compression is one of the things I'm most looking forward to, as it means I can add so much more detail without worrying about going over the 1 GB mod HUD limit. Now, I know in the past, that has been a thing where he's constantly battling to make sure it's not over the 1 GB. And then, it's not, even if he could go over the 1 GB, you've got to it's always a balancing act to keep it stable, good frame rates, all that kind of stuff. Right, so now we're getting on to my questions. These are the questions I put over to Oxy. The first one was, what was the first version of FS you played? And do you get much time to play? His response was, I knew about FS in 2008, but wasn't fully interested to play in 2000 until 2011. Since FS 13, I was really intrigued to start making my own mods, and now I don't get a lot of time to play, as I spend my free time making mods. So that pretty much confirms that he doesn't play the game because he's obviously too busy making mods for everyone, which is a shame, really, because I bet when you're making all these maps, as much as you like being creative, you're giving all your time that you would use to play the game originally to making maps for people and content for people. So yeah, it just goes to show that that's a great reason why to be even more appreciated of the time that modders and map makers put into helping us guys out that play the game. So my next question was, what has been your biggest influence on modding? Where do you get your passion and drive for your UK maps? So Oxy replied, as a youngster, I spent a lot of time on farms and in the countryside with my family, which had a big impact on me growing up. The games industry really lacks games set in the UK countryside, and I had a passion to bring that to life in my maps and mods and create an immersive world for others to enjoy, which I fully agree with. He's definitely done that, and I agree with his statement about the games industry does lack the UK countryside is a place, or it's not experienced very well in the gaming industry. So Farming Simulator is kind of the perfect game for that, and Oxy has definitely made immersive worlds. So my next question was, what stands out to you most in FS25, either as a player or a modder? And then I think this has obviously been quite a common question. So again, it's probably a simple and straightforward answer that we've already heard, which is, so his response was, the new dynamic ground looks amazing, along with the new weather effects like the rain, geometry data compression, which allows for more detailed models and reusing slot count. So I asked 10, so I think we're about halfway through now. But the next one as well, it's been asked, which is, I put, what is your favourite map by Oxy? And then I asked him, what's your favourite map made by someone else? So his favourite maps have been Carmson and Court Farms, but his most favourite of all is the one he's currently working on. Other maps I really like are Nuston, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Nuston by Pretorius, I actually don't think I know that. That might be like an early map then. You have to search that one. So the next question I put was, if you could change one thing about ModHub and modding, what would it be? And his response is, 1 GB is the limit on ModHub for mods. I would like to see this double to 2 GB to enable modders to increase the detail in mods. It would also be nice if Giants could release more info and tutorials to modders to help with how to create mods. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. I know at one point they did like a how to mod, but the dummy books and how to mod. And then they've obviously done some tutorials and stuff, and I think the collector's editions of the game come with some kind of modding tutorial and stuff like that. But I agree, if they could make it a bit more straightforward, it's the initial getting into it, I think, is the hardest part. Because if you could bring more modders in, everyone likes to be creative, and yeah, I agree with him there. I then asked him a simple question, and it wasn't, is it coming to console? Because I had to really, really hold back from asking that. But what is your favourite branded tractor? He put Massey, Ferguson and Ford, especially the more vintage models. So straight away, I'm like, exactly, that's like the farmhand, the old Masseys and old Fords. So my next question, I've only got a few more left now, which was, what is your favourite thing to add to a map? What was the most challenging addition, and what has been the most time consuming? I get the most enjoyment seeing assets in game that I've created in Blender. Most challenging addition was working out how to animate animals in Blender, and learning how to use Blender itself has been the most time consuming over the years. And I agree, because I think that's what separates the top tier modders to the ones that are just starting out. And everyone has to start somewhere, but when you get to that point when you're modeling yourself and using Blender, I think you take it to the next level, because it's like you open a complete and blank canvas to just do anything your imagination can muster. Because at that point, if you've learnt Blender, you can create it in Blender and then bring it into Farming Simulator. So I agree that Blender must have been such a time-consuming thing to learn, especially if you're self-taught as well, that it's impressive, it is. And I think if I had the time, I'd love to be able to do maybe a little bit in Blender. I think everyone's tried the donut in Blender, which is that tutorial on YouTube where a content creator kind of guides you through Blender and how to make your own donut. And I've even done that right to the end and made a decent donut. But then making, a tractor or a map is a completely different thing after that. Right, so we've got 3 more questions left. I'm trying to make this episode under an hour, because I knew it was going to be a long one, because there's a lot of chatting going on. So the next question I put to Oxy was, how do you choose places for the next map, and what is the process? And his response was, I take inspiration from areas near to where I live, so I can study the surroundings and bring elements of that to life on my maps. I look at areas with lots of interesting features that I would think would appeal to the community. So it's good to know that he actually goes out, and I think I found this out earlier on while speaking to Oxy. He does actually go out to these places and visualize and takes photos, and then he takes them back to work on. So for example, the Calms map, he would have gone to Calms and took some pictures of the buildings, and maybe like I don't know if you can see on the Calms that you're looking at right now, there's a little letterbox. It's a red Royal Mail letterbox kind of built into the wall. He would have seen that, took a picture of it, and then kind of modeled it into the map. And it's things like that that just, I think that's how it separates from just a fictional map, for example. He can take such influence from what he's seeing and bring that into the world, which helps us believe and become more immersed into this when we're playing it. So my penultimate question now is, what are you working on now? Can you give any details? The big question. I'm currently working on a new mod map which will be based in Gloucestershire with lots of rolling hills around 20 miles from Carmsden and Oakfield. The map is called Whitcombe Park Farm. So there we go, everybody. Oxy's next map for FS25 is called Whitcombe Park Farm. So everybody, get on the bloody hype train, because there's a map going to be coming out called Whitcombe Park Farm in Gloucestershire, near to Carmsden, near to Oakfield, and yeah, it's going to be stunning. So my final question was, what do you have in store for FS22? Pretty much answered that already, but as always, I'll be looking for new and interesting ways to improve my maps and provide a great gameplay experience. So there we go. Big shout out to Oxy. Thank you so much, mate, for letting me, give away the name of your map. I really appreciate that. I know Oxy's got a load of pictures that he's kind of building up. At some point on his Facebook page, he'll show it all off. So yeah, stay tuned. Go follow him on his Facebook page if you haven't. You probably have already. But yeah, you'll see his pictures coming out soon. And from what I can tell, this is going to be a good one. It really is. But on that note, I am going to leave the video there. I just want to thank everybody that's taken the time to watch to the end. A big shout out to all the UK modders, all the Irish modders, all the British style equipment modders. You guys make the game for me. You make it for a lot of people. And I hope we keep going strong. And I really do hope we see some great maps coming into FS25. But yeah, big shout out to Bullet Bill, Dusty Dave, AMG Modding, Green Bale, 4D Modding, Lancey Boy, NM Modding, IJ Creative Design, John Deere 2450, and the team at iAgri as well. Big shout out to every single one of you. And if I've forgotten anyone, I apologise. Big shout out to you as well. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.